Saying I'm live. All right. Brakate Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Yaramyah, chapter 31. And pretty much that's Jeremiah chapter 31, as you can see in the Roman numerals. X is 10, another X is another 10, one more X is 3 10s, which is 30, and the I is 1. So Yaramyah chapter 31. I was meditating on this and I was listening to it earlier, chapters 30, 31, and 32, and figured this would be a good lesson to go into, seeing that a lot of this, back and forth with we're in the new covenant, it's coming up, and I've been saying this for a couple, I'm not sure if it's been a week, 2 weeks, or however long it's been. That I've been saying that these Hebrew Israelites, I mean, I'm pretty sure some of you brothers can remember that. If not, then I know I said it in the spirit, that these Hebrew Israelites are starting to sound like Christians, especially even the ones that go all the way back to One West, they're starting to sound like Christians. Their doctrine is mimicking the Christian doctrine, and it's like they're slowly but surely reverting back to that plantation/Renaissance Christianity. And I saw a post earlier where Deacon Hakah said that the same. He said the same thing. So I look at that as being the spirit that's bringing that out. I don't think he watches my videos like that, so I don't think he watched my video and saw that I said that a few times already. I believe that's probably something that he thought about also, and it's true. These Christians, they're starting to sound. I mean, these Hebrew Israelites are starting to sound more and more like these Christians, especially in their doctrine, which is a good thing to see, because the reason why is because it's causing, it's stirring more controversy, and also making the truth more and more precious. Because remember, the Lord said, "Wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be that go in thereat. And narrow is the way, and straight is the gate that leads to the path of life, and very few be that go in thereat." And this whole controversy and confusion, of the doctrine of the Hebrew Israelites and the truth, is pretty much a sifting agent that the Lord is using, for these Israelites that He doesn't want, because the majority of you Israelites, which is true, we've been saying this for a minute, are nothing more than entertainment Israelites. You're in this thing for the wrong reasons. You're in this thing for controversy, or you're in this thing because a particular group caters to your lifestyle. So you're going to get down with that, not because of the word, but because they cater to your lifestyle. And if you're coming in that spirit, then you're coming in the wrong spirit. You need to repent so that the Lord may have mercy upon you. But before we get started, the priest, elder, young elder, Amawan Gabar, he does Bible verse quotes every day. He puts them up. And the one he put up this morning, I love it. And I went to it. And I want to read a couple of verses before we get started with the actual lesson. And this is found in the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 51st chapter in the Apocrypha, the 11th and the 12th verse. It says, "I will praise thy name continually." This is dealing with the names of Yahweh and Yahushai. "And will sing praises with thanksgiving," giving praise and honor and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Barakatah Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. "And so my prayer was" what? "Heard. So I will praise thy name continually, sun up, sun down," to the point where people get tired, sick and tired of hearing the name, "and will sing praises with thanksgiving." To who? To Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Not all praises, all praises. No, who you giving all praises to? You got to give all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. "And so my prayer was heard." See? So when you praise the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, our prayers are heard. "For thou savest me from destruction," because the name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous runneth into it and is safe. "And deliverest me from the evil time." Why? Because we call upon those names and we do this work to the best of our ability, things that are pleasing unto the Lord. Therefore will I give thanks and praise thee and bless thy name, O Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. That was a very beautiful scripture that was posted earlier, which they all are, but this one kind of grabbed me because of the importance of the name and the importance of praising the name, exalting the name, and through that, our prayers are heard and we receive deliverance from certain situations. All right, so now to get into the topic, the main topic, which is Yaramyah, the 31st chapter, or Jeremiah, the 31st chapter. I want to try to get through the whole chapter, Lord's will. Oh man, what happened? Damn, I had certain verses that were highlighted. That's okay. I'll Lord's will, I can remember what they were. I think this is another one, and I'll take it from there. So this, I know it was 1, 4, and 8. I don't know if I had any other ones, but that's okay. So it says, Israel's mourning turned to joy. Jeremiah 31 and 1. At that time, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, will I be the power of all the families of Israel. Shalom. Yahushua. Elder Dimash. So it says, at the same time, will saith the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, will I be the power of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. Why? Because at one time the nation was split, and the Lord got upset, highly upset, with the northern kingdom. And what did he do? He cut us away. He cut us off before he cut off the southern kingdom. And you can find that history in the book of 2 Kings. Here in 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, you can read the whole chapter. It gives you a rundown of what took place, and you can read through the history to see what happened. You can go, I believe that's 1 Kings, the 11th chapter, 12th chapter, 13th, 14th chapter, and those chapters there, where you can get a better understanding as to why the kingdom was split and how it was split and divided, and what tribes went to the southern kingdom, which is Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and what tribes went to the northern kingdom, which is Ephraim and the rest of the other tribes, which at that time, there were 10 tribes that went with Jeroboam, which was an Ephraimite king. All right. So 2 Kings 17:19, also Judah kept not the commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai their power, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. Okay. It says, and Yahweh Bashem Yahushai rejected all the seed of Israel. And this is why the northern kingdom fell, and eventually the southern kingdom, and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of spoilers. And I remember this is something that the not the Ansar, the Ansar community, the Nuwabians, whatever they want to call themselves, which is a made up, nation, pretty much try to use this because of Dr. York, in the book 360 Questions to Ask the Hebrew Israelites. And I remember because Brother Polite, he was a staunch member of, Dr. York and that whole movement. And he brought this precept up because they used to try to bring this precept up in the past. And when he brought it up, the first thing that happened was Sinetta came down and he asked about, that the Bible is plagiarizes because, we teach that, about the virgin birth, the mother, whatever. And when we told him, no, we don't worship that. That's not biblical. And he quickly shut up. And I know in his mind, he said, I can't wait for Brother Polite to get down here. And when he came down here, he pulled out this scripture, Brother Polite. And when he read it, or when he quoted it, Pastor Charles said, well, who are the spoilers? And he quickly changed the subject, which the spoilers here means the robbers, The ones that brought us down, which were for the kingdom of Israel, the northern kingdom, that was the Assyrians, until he had cast them out of his sight. How did he cast us out of his sight? By taking us out of the land of Samaria and those lands where the northern kingdom was at, because the land of Samaria, that was like the, I guess you could say, the headquarters, so to speak. And this is where, you know, if I'm not mistaken, well, I know it was Dan and Bethel, was it? The two of the main cities that the two calves were put in. You know, it's because Jeroboam didn't want the Israelites to go back to Rehoboam, which was Rehoboam was a king of the southern kingdom, and Jeroboam was a king of the north. So he didn't want the other northern kingdom tribes going back and forth to Jerusalem to keep the Passover and the high holy days. So he set up his own thing. All right, and set up sent all of the Levites out back to Judah, and he set up the basis of the people of the tribes to be priests in the stead of the Levites. All right, and the site of the Most High is what? The land of Israel. You know, so he kicked us out of that land and sent us over to the land of Assyria by the hand of Shalmaneser V, when you read up above in this chapter, which brought us into the land of Assyria. And there's a whole history behind that, a whole, lesson behind that. It says, for he rent Israel from the house of David. Right. And that's how the tribes were divided. You had the priest, the prophet Ahijah met Jeroboam, which was a young man. He was an industrious man that King Solomon was using as a servant. And the Lord used Ahijah to catch his garment, ripped the garment into 12 pieces, gave him 10 pieces, and said, the Lord is going to divide the kingdom, give you 10 tribes, and the other 2 tribes are going to stay with Judah. All right. And from that point on, Solomon wanted to take him out. He wanted to delete him. It says, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. See, so at this point, from this point on, when the division of the kingdom came, you had 2 kings, the king of the north and the king of the south. And it's not talking about the king of the north and the king of the south of Daniel's 11th chapter. That's dealing with something totally different. All right, and this is how the nation was divided. This is why when you read the book of Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, it speaks about the nation coming back together and taking 2 sticks, writing upon them to the both kingdoms, the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, and putting them together and making them one plank or one stick, which is the coming together of the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom once again, which that never happened in history. Even though you had some of the northern kingdom that went back with the southern kingdom, for the most part, the majority of the northern kingdom was stripped away from the southern kingdom, went into captivity. It wasn't till this time when, the southern kingdom was brought to this side of the world in captivity, slavery, as prophesied per the scriptures in Deuteronomy 28, that in process of time, the tribes started coming back together. And it really wasn't until the fulfillment of Revelation, the 11th chapter, where the southern kingdom would be here for 350 years in captivity, that prophecy would start to manifest. And that was when the truth came out, around 1969, 1970. From that point on, the southern kingdom was out there teaching, and eventually the northern kingdom started coming in slowly but surely. And that's the uniting of the 2 kingdoms together today. And you still have a great division among the kingdom, but you have the elect that are coming back together. It says, and Jeroboam drave Israel from following Yahweh by Shem El Shai and made them sin a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, which is what? Worshipping of the calf. This is one thing that he knew he can get Israel with, because Jake was doing this thing secretly. You can read this whole chapter. It tells you they were doing this thing secretly. So he said, I know how to get them. So that they don't go back to Jerusalem and link back up with King Rehoboam in the southern kingdom, I'm gonna get 2 golden calves, which they are already worshiping, and I'm gonna put one in Dan and one in Bethel. And from that point on, he pretty much drew them in, so to speak. They departed not from them until the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shai moved Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. And these are the spoilers, the Assyrians. Okay? So going back to Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 1, I read it again. At that time, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shai, will I be the power of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. So this right now is being fulfilled as we speak. The beginning fulfillment of this is happening. And that goes hand in hand with the book of Hosea, the first chapter, which is the fulfillment of it, or the place is talking about America. It's not talking about the Solomon Islands. It's not talking about any other place on the planet but America. Hosea 1 and 10, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered, meaning that they would be innumerable. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people. What place is that? Here in America. Because even to this day, when you tell these people out here that who the Israelites are, and you tell them this is so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, they don't listen. They ain't trying to hear that. So even to this very day, Salakia, they don't accept it. It says, there it shall be said unto them, you are the sons of the living power. And that's why it's so important to have the 12 tribe sign at all times when you're out there teaching in the streets. Now, sometimes something happens and you're not able to bring the sign out because somebody might have forgot it, which back in the days, that was a no-no. Back in the days, you'll get sent back to the school in a heartbeat. Oh, you forgot this or you forgot that? Oh, take your ass back on the train and get your ass back up top and go get it and bring it back down. Because that was something that was, but today brothers drive further distances to get, to the camp, and something happens, but for the most part, that sign, 12 tribe sign, should be out there at all times, because that is a commandment, and that is a way for Jake to identify who the Israelites are. So going back to Jeremiah 31 and 2 now, thus saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shai, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest. Right, because when the Israelites were brought out of the land of Egypt, eventually the Lord brought them into the land, of Israel, which back then was known as the land of Canaan. All right. But in the wilderness, they was catching hell. But the ones that were brought out of Egypt, none of them made it except for Joshua and Caleb. But the children didn't make it. So eventually they received that grace when they came out and went into the land of Canaan, which later was renamed Israel. It says, the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shai had appeared of old unto me. See? It says, saying, yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. And this was because of the great promise and oath that he made with Abraham. And even though the Lord gets highly pissed off with us, he still loves us. It's just like you have a woman, and your woman might do something stupid, and you get mad, you get fiery mad at her, but you still have that love for her. Therefore, with loving kindness have I drawn thee. See? And that's where the Lord is still drawing us to this day. By what? By his word. Again, I will build thee, and thou shalt be built. And right now we're going through the building stage, which is the third temple, which is not a physical temple. It's a spiritual temple that is being built right now, which are the tribes coming back together. Remember, we are that spiritual building. We are the temple of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And the Lord is using the different brothers out there that are teachers to be those bricks that are being brought back to build back the house or the tabernacle of David. O Virgin of Israel, thou shalt again be adorned with what? With thy tabrets, which represent what? Music. What is this music? This knowledge, this truth. And shall go forth in the dances of them that make merry. And that's talking about right now we're being set up and established to what? To go into the kingdom of heaven. When we go to Psalms, the 149th chapter, in the 5th verse, it says, let the saints be joyful in glory. I'm sorry, I got to go up a little bit above that. Psalms 149 and 1. Praise ye the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Sing unto the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, a new song. Because that other song is old. That plantation / Renaissance Christianity, that's an old, stale song. That is out of style, okay? And is praised in the congregation of saints. Who are the saints? The Israelites. You can go to the previous chapter, the 148th chapter, around the 13th verse, and it'll tell you who the saints are. The word saints means holy ones or separate ones. All right? And what made us holy or separate? The laws, the statutes, the commandments that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai gave to us to separate us from the other nations. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. And that's what we're seeing happening now. But this is going to be fully fulfilled where? In the kingdom of heaven. Let them praise his what? Name in the dance. See? Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp. All right? For the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. So this is talking about in the kingdom of heaven. So this, again, back in Jeremiah 31 and 4, again, I will build thee, and thou shalt be built, O Virgin of Israel. So when the kingdom of heaven is established, that's when we're going to really be built, because then our bricks, which is our bodies, will not be defiled. They will be fully consecrated. It says, thou shalt again be adorned with thy tabrets. Where? In the kingdom of heaven. And shall go forth in the dances of them that make merry. Because right now, we're still catching hell. There's still tears upon our eyes. When the kingdom of heaven is established, as per Revelation 21st chapter, there's going to be no more tears in our eyes. We're not going to have any more sorrow. There's not going to be any more death among Jake. There's not going to be any more mourning. There's going to be everlasting joy. Elder Pastor years ago went into a lesson, and he said, you know what the kingdom of heaven is going to be like? He said it's going to be like an everlasting, a non-ending or everlasting weekend. You know, when people work, they work Monday through Friday, and then from Friday to Saturday, from Friday to Sunday, and then you might have a long weekend to where it may extend to Monday, or you might have a super long weekend where it extends from Friday to Monday. Well, the kingdom of heaven is going to be an everlasting weekend, non-ending. Okay? I'll read the scripture. The brother put up Psalms 40, verse 3. And he had put a new song in my mouth. Why? Because the old song of plantation Christianity is bogus. Even praise unto our power. Many shall see it and fear and shall trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Wow. There's some bad precepts brothers putting up. So it says, thou shalt plant vines upon the mountains of Samaria. And we ain't planting nothing right now in the land of Israel. So this is talking about in the kingdom. The planters shall plant and shall eat them as common things. Right, because one thing that we as a nation lost was our ability to when we actually planted things in our land, the nations came and took it up and used it up. So when we set up in the kingdom of heaven, they're not going to be able to get our stuff. We're gonna reap the benefits. And we're not going to be planting anything. The nations will be planted, but we're going to receive everything. We're not. It ain't going to be taken from us and given to anybody else. For there shall be a day that the watchman upon the Mount Ephraim shall cry, Arise ye, and let us go up to Zion unto the Lord our power. See? Because we're going to be perfected. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai, sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the chief of the nations. Publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Yahweh Bashem Shai, save thy people, the remnant of Israel. See? So we are coming to that point to receive the promise of the kingdom of heaven. So when we get into the kingdom of heaven, we're going to be, not lacking or wanting anything, perfected. Behold, I will bring them from the north country. What north country is that? America, Babylon the Great. Let me get a couple of precepts on that. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 5. Fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east. That's where we came from, the east. And gather thee from the what? From the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, and my daughters from the ends of the earth. Even everyone that is called by my name, meaning what? By the name of Israel. For I have created him for my glory. I have formed him, yea, I have made him. So the Lord is gathering us from the west. Another scripture, Baruch chapter 5, verse 5. Arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look about thee toward the east, because that's where our homeland is at. And behold, thy children gathered from the western side of the world here, unto the east, by the word of the Holy One rejoices in the remembrance of the Most High. So we're rejoicing in the remembrance of the Lord, and we're preparing to be brought back to the east, the land of Israel, Palestine, to be, to possess the kingdom with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So back in Jeremiah 31:8, behold, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the coasts of the earth. And with them the blind and the lame, the woman and the child, and her that travaileth with child together, a great company shall return hither. Right. So when the Lord delivers the elect, you're going to have men, women, children, women that are pregnant, that are going to be going up into the chariots of the elect. And a great company shall return hither, which are who? The elect. Return through the where? Back to the land of Israel. They shall come with weeping and with supplication will I lead them. Right, and that's going on right now. The weeping and the supplication, which is going on right now. This is why Yahweh Shai said, because you have kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. It says, I will cause them to walk by the rivers of the waters in a straight way, which is what? The kingdom of heaven, in total perfection, nothing lacking. Wherein they shall not stumble, because here we stumble, here in America. We stumble wherever, brothers, sisters are. We stumble. We still go off. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn, because the Lord is bringing the whole nation together. Okay? The whole nation together. It says, hear the word of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, all ye nations. So this is to you, other nations. And declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattered Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd doth his flock. So all of this that we're going through now is setting up what, setting the stage for us to receive the kingdom of heaven, to be delivered and go back to the kingdom of heaven. He that scattereth Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd doth his flock. For the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai hath redeemed Jacob. How? By the blood of Yahushai. And ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he, the Edomites and the other nations. So we're now in that process of being purged to get to the kingdom of heaven. So this is that road or that path to get to the kingdom of heaven. This is why the Apostle Paul said, I have not yet apprehended that which I am apprehended for. meaning I haven't received the kingdom yet, but I'm following after. If by chance, if I'm part of the elect, I will reach, the goal or the finish line to be able to be delivered. Because Yahweh Shai said, he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. Therefore they shall come and sing in the height of Zion. Right. And that's why we sing in the song, that we're singing, which is the new song, deliverance. Yahweh Shai, the gospel. Yahweh Shai dying and redeeming back the nation of Israel. And shall flow together for the goodness of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, for wheat and for wine and for oil and for the young of the flock and of the herd, and their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow anymore at all. So right now the Lord is sustaining us, and he's also, causing his Holy Spirit to continuously water us every day with this truth, this knowledge, to keep us healthy. The best trees and the best plants, the best of everything, flourish more when they're by the banks of a river or by the banks of a body of water, which the roots are constantly getting nourished and watered. And that's how the elect are today. They're constantly being nourished and watered and nourished by the water of this word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So this is all stuff that's happening as we speak. Then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance. And how are we rejoicing in the dance? By we are singing that song. We are dancing to the melody. We are moving to the tune. We're rehearsing the lyrics to the song. Both young men and old together. Yeah, because you see brothers that are younger, brothers that are older. For I will turn their mourning into joy, because eventually the mourning that we're going through is going to be turned into joy. Let's go to the book of I think that's St. John, chapter 16 and verse 33. This is Yahweh Shai speaking to the disciples. You can hit the red edition. You can see it there. Okay, so let's go right to the point. St. John 16:33. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. Salakia, brothers, sisters, Salakia. In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. See? So in the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. Rejoice. And as much as we are partakers of Yahweh Shai's suffering. Because he that has suffered in the flesh has ceased from what? From sin. Salakia. And remember, Salakia. Let's get this one real quick. We'll go back to that. And hopefully I can remember the other one. Matter of fact, let me get that up. Damn. I have peace. In the world you shall have tribulation. Damn. It just escaped me. Well, let me get this other one. It's in this book of St. John 15. Hopefully, Lord's will, the other one will come back. Let me see if I can find it this way. Nope. Okay, it was St. John 14. So let me hold on to that. Let me see. Let me read this again. Hopefully it'll jar my memory to the other precept. Oh, Barakateh Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Wow. Let's go here. 1 Corinthians 11. How could I forget? This is like one of my top favorites. So let me read this again so we can get the whole picture. Damn, I hate when that does that. Beautiful. St. John 16:33. These things have I spoken unto you, that in me you might have what? Peace. So we read that, the Yahweh's peace he gives, he leaves with us, not as the world giveth, so give I it. Why? Because the world is condemned. You got to remember that. That's why the apostles, they all spoke about that. James said, the pure worship is to keep yourselves unspotted from the world. 1 Corinthians 11:32. But when we are judged, which is what? Chastened. We are chastened of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So when we go through these trials and tribulations, this is us being punished and judged and chastened of the Lord. For what? That we should not be condemned with the world. Why? Because the world is already condemned. That's why if Jake don't come out of the world, they're going to be destroyed with the world. So when we catch hell, go through these trials and tribulations and punishments, we are being judged. So we are being chastened, corrected. You see, that we should not be condemned with the world. And St. John 14 and 27, peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Why? Because as we read in St. John 16 and 33, read it again. It says, these things have I spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. See, in the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. And remember, we are dealing with a heavy tribulation. But remember, Yahushua, when he came as Yahushua, he was perfect, and he was catching hell. He was catching nothing but hell. And when he was crucified, pretty much he suffered as a wicked person would suffer for doing the right things. And he had no sin at that time when he came as himself. Us, we all fucked up, it's just all fucked up, So when we going through these trials and tribulations and whatever the Lord put on us, it speaks about taking it cheerfully because we deserve it. So it says and that's part of what gives us comfort in the scriptures, because the scriptures speak about these things to comfort us. We have the scriptures to comfort us. It says, for I will turn their mourning into joy, right? Because the world is going to be rejoicing. But it says that our sorrow is going to be turned to joy. You see? Because when Yahushua cracks them clouds, the elect are going to be jumping and hopping for joy, especially when they start going up into the chariots. Because there's going to be horrible sights and horrible things happening. And like the scripture said in Revelation 11, they're going to be affrighted, but they're still going to praise Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, which is going to be something. In that day, you got to remember, in the midst of all this hell, in the midst of everything going on in the world, there's a group of Israelites that are of the elect that's going to be being protected, elevating above the tribulation of the earth. And do you know the excitement and the joy, and the that just the awe of it all, is going to be like a mixture of being super scared but being super happy. It says and will comfort them and make them rejoice from their sorrow. See, so we're going to be here catching hell, but eventually the Lord is going to deliver us from this. So this is all the lead up, the time of Jacob's trouble. Because remember, the scripture prior to this, or the chapter prior to this, speaks about Jacob's trouble. Jeremiah the 30th chapter and the 7th verse. But he said, but he shall be delivered from it. So this is all a part of the blueprint of the things that we're going to be going through on the planet prior to Yahushua coming back to deliver us. Lord's will we be the elect. And I will satiate the soul of the priest with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. Why? Because he's coming to remove all tears from our eyes and to give us the kingdom of heaven. Now, this verse here jumps, all the way back to the time of Yahweh Shai, which, this was a very heavy time of lamentation. So it's akin to what's going on now or what's about to happen. It's going to be a heavy, spirit, of mourning out here, because you're going to have a lot of Israelites that's going to be deleted in Jacob's trouble. Jeremiah 31:15 says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, a voice was heard in Ramah." Ramah was a place where Benjamin, was living. Lamentation and bitter weeping. See, bitter weeping. Rachel, which was the mother, Rachel was the most loved of the sisters to Jacob. Yeah, Rachel and Leah. He loved Rachel the most. But Rachel only had two sons. She had Ephraim, she had Benjamin. She had Joseph, she had Benjamin. Okay? And Benjamin being the youngest, right? And when she had him, she passed, So I believe she didn't pass right then and there, but eventually she passed. I got to go back and brush up on that because I haven't read that in a while. But I believe it was, she didn't pass till later on. But the point is, she might have passed. I know there was another instance where the woman, when she had the two sons, the two twins, I believe it was, for Judah, she passed. And then one of them, I think, was called Ichabod or something like that, the glorious past. So there's going to be a great lamentation. See, it says, Rachel weeping for her children and refused to be comforted for her children because they were not. And this is talking about during the time of Yahweh Shai, when Yahweh Shai was born and the wise men came to see him. And when the wise men came to see him, what happened was they told Herod because they wanted to know where the child was at, and he wanted to know because he wanted to delete him. But he made them think that he wanted to worship him, which is BS. So then when they found out from the angel that came to them in a dream and told them, don't go back that way, to hell with them, and just left, they left. And 2 years passed and he was still waiting for word, Herod. So what he did was he started to delete all the male children from 2 years old and younger to try to get to Yahweh Shai. But the spirit had already had Joseph, Mary, and Yahweh Shai go down to Egypt. And then eventually, once Herod passed, they came back. But Joseph was still nervous because Archelaus, I believe, was Herod's son, was on the throne. So he was still nervous. So he just went up. And that's how he ended up in Galilee, in that area up there, Nazareth. All right. So it says that's what this is going into. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, refrain thy voice from weeping and thine ear and thy eyes from tears, for thy work shall be rewarded." See, so eventually the work is going to be rewarded. So now, in these times, you're going to have a great mourning, a great lamentation, because the time of Jacob's trouble, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy. And that's what we're waiting for. And there is hope in thine end. Why? Because we are the Israelites, and there was a promise with an oath that the Most High made with Abraham, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem El Shai, that thy children shall come again to their own border. So this is what we're waiting for. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1, and many other chapters where the Lord says he's going to come and deliver us from every land where we're at and bring us back to that land. Jeremiah chapter 16 speaks about, it's not going to be mentioned that the Lord delivered us from Egypt, but the Lord delivered us from the land of the north, which is here in North America, to bring us what? Back to the land of Israel. So these are all things that we're waiting for. So in the midst of all of that, as we're waiting, you can see the buildup. Those of you brothers that your eyes are open. I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself. Thus thou hast chastised me, and I was chastised, which we read about this in the book of Second Kings, the 17th chapter, and also when you read the book of Hosea, it goes into the punishment of the northern kingdom. As a bullock unaccustomed to the yoke turned down me, right? Because we were living good and we got jacked up. And I shall be turned, for thou art the Lord my power. Shortly after that I was turned, I repented, right? When Ephraim started catching hell, they repented. And after that I was instructed, and we're being instructed now. I smote upon my thigh, right? Because of the what? The shame, right? I was ashamed, yea, even confounded, because I did bear the reproach of my youth. And I was just with the elder Demashaphat. We went to go get a bite to eat. And he was telling me about a dream that he had, or a vision that he had. I don't know how long ago it was. I think it was years ago, where he said he saw the kingdom of heaven. He saw, brothers there. And he said that we were watching a movie. It was like we were watching a movie, but he said, it's just as vivid as you see these people out here in the streets walking. Said it was like that. And then, we just saw the movie. And he said after the movie, he said you had a whole bunch of Israelites that had their heads down. They were mourning because they saw themselves doing wicked things. And that brought to mind, Ezekiel, the 36th chapter, you shall, loathe yourself. And he said that brothers were going through and trying to comfort, Jake, trying to comfort them, look, don't worry, it's all right, and reading scriptures to try to comfort them. But they were really like messed up about it. It was pretty heavy, the way he was telling me. I mean, he knows it a lot better. That's kind of what I remember. So he said, I smote upon my thigh. Why? Because he remembered the wickedness that he did. I was ashamed, see, yea, even confounded, because I did bear the reproach of my youth. And that's why we're still in this day in our captivity. Is Ephraim my dear son? This is a question. Is he a pleasant child? For since I spake against him, I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my bowels are troubled for him. I will surely have mercy upon him, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So the Lord is still going to have mercy on Israel. And will yet, he will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. See, that's what we're waiting for. So all these things are just a buildup to what's coming up. Because when you start to wake up to the truth, you have a moment, especially when you first wake up, and even to this day, when you first wake up, you have a reflection on your life prior to the truth, and you cry, man. You bawl, you just think about all the wicked shit you did, and you start crying to the Lord, and asking for forgiveness. You see, there's this very heavy spirit of mourning when you first come into the truth, and even now, but then now we know, better. But back then, we didn't know any better. So it's heavy, man. So it says, set thee up waymarks. Waymarks are signs, Make thee high heaps, set thine heart toward the highways. Even the way which thou wentest, turn again, O Virgin of Israel, turn again to thy cities. Right. So right now we're being brought back to, the remembrance of who we are. I believe this is Jeremiah 6. I haven't gone to this in a minute. 6 and 16. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. See, the ancient ways. Shalakia. Where is the good way, and walk therein, and you shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. Right. That's the ones of Israel that are not listening. Shalakia. Okay, the water. So she did. So she did die right after Benjamin was born. That's right. Yeah, I thought I remembered it, but I wasn't sure. But the water, bro, the water. So going back to Jeremiah 31, 22 now. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? So this is all right now leading up, into the time of Jacob's trouble, catching hell, waiting for the deliverance For Yahweh Bashem Yahushua hath created a new thing in the earth, a woman shall compass a man. And you come on, man. You see that right now. These women that are at an all-time proud spirit, that feminist spirit, now destroyed these women. I mean, it got them to the point where they're super proud for no reason. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua of hosts, host, the power of Israel. As yet they shall use this speech in the land of Judah and the cities thereof, when I shall bring again the captivity or the deliverance. The Lord bless thee, O habitation of justice and mountains of holiness, right? Because the Lord is now setting up and establishing the elect under the banner of the truth. And there shall dwell in Judah itself and in all the cities thereof together husbandmen, and they that go forth with flocks. This is what we're waiting for. For I have satiated the weary soul, and I have replenished every sorrowful soul. Right? Because when the kingdom of heaven is established, there's not going to be any sorrowful soul or tears. You know, eventually after a while, the ones that don't make it are going to be sorrowful, or hate themselves, so to speak, for what they did. But that's not going to last forever, because the ones that make it are going to comfort them. Upon this I awaked and beheld, and my sleep was sweet unto me. All right, so this was a vision that Jeremiah had concerning the woes, the catching the hell that Jacob went through, and eventually the deliverance and the Israelites being brought back and comforted and swaddled, and pampered once again in the kingdom of heaven. So now we jump into what? The new covenant. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Why? Because we were separated. When you go through the history, with the seed of man and with the seed of beasts. So in other words, we're going to replenish. We're going to grow. It's not going to be no Planned Parenthood in the kingdom of heaven. There ain't going to be women slutting around, getting pregnant by different people, getting pregnant by her husband's father. Wicked shit, right? Ain't going to be none of that. It's going to be so many Israelites that we're going to have to eventually branch off into other planets in order to be able to hold the amount of Israelites that are going to be born. And it shall come to pass, that goes with Isaiah the 60th chapter. And it shall come to pass that, like as I have watched over them, to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So that's going to be when the kingdom of heaven is established. But right now, the elect are being built up in the knowledge, but we're still imperfect. All right. In those days they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten a sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge. Right, because the ones that commit the act of wickedness, they're going to receive their judgment. And even so, when the fathers ate the sour grapes and the children's teeth were set on edge, eventually those fathers, when they died, they came back as the children in the third or fourth generation. But everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Everyone that eateth the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. Right, and that's what's going to happen during the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, the ones that didn't take heed, they're going to be Proverbs 1, the first chapter, from around the 20th verse on down. Says, so all that, the cats in hell, the Jacob's trouble, right? And then eventually what's going to happen? The deliverance. So the 31st chapter, behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Why? Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And that's why there was fault found, because there was fault with us. Because we couldn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly. Neither can we keep them right now. That's how we know that we're not fully in the second covenant. And if you understand covenants, you understand that a covenant cannot be enforced unless blood is shed. Back then, the first covenant was, you know, enforced by the blood of animals. The second covenant is enforced by the blood of Yahushua. But the provisions of the second covenant pertaining to the laws being inserted into our inward parts has not been fulfilled yet. That will not be fulfilled to the kingdom of heaven. That's why it goes on to say, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, what days, saith the Lord? All of what we were reading about, the catching the hell, the Jacob's trouble, the mourning, the catching of hell from all these different nations and all of that. After those days, after all of these days, even right now, are accomplished, which we're coming into a great time of Jacob's trouble. After these days, said the Lord Yahweh Bashem, I will put my laws in their inward parts. That's when the Lord will put the laws into our inward parts. After these days, after the catching hell, after going through all of this tribulation in the time of Jacob's trouble, when the elect make it to the finish line and get on them chariots, prior to getting on the chariots, our bodies are going to be changed. Lord's will we be the elect. The bodies are going to be changed. The heart is going to be changed. The stony heart removed, fleshy heart inserted. Then the laws will be able to come into that perfect body. And that will be the bond of the covenant, the perfect bond. You see? So the elect will be bonded and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people. So you see how when you go into the first and second covenant here in Jeremiah 31, there is a lead up to it. So now we're coming into the time of Jacob's trouble, and in the midst of all of that, as things progress and the MOTB is made mandatory, and the micro CHIP is implemented through this digital system, World War III is fought, and everything happens. Then Yahushua cracks the clouds, delivers his elect, and that's when the download will happen, or the upgrade, when the laws will be inserted into our inward parts. Then that will be when the second covenant will be fully fulfilled. Until then, we're not in the second covenant except for the part of the blood that Yahushua shed to make that covenant of force. But what's the provisions within that is what? That the laws will be written in our hearts. And you can't say, well, I'm an Israelite, so the laws are written in my hearts. I know not to commit adultery. I know not to steal. I know how to keep the Sabbath, so on and so forth. Yeah. Well, you have Jake in the world that knows not to murder and not to commit adultery. You have some Jakes out there in the world that are not privy to Israel, that have those qualities in them. But they still go off in other ways. Just like you being in the truth, yeah, we have knowledge of the laws, statutes, and commandments, but we still go off. The Apostle Paul was an expert in the law. He still went off. And write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people. That's why the Lord will be able to be among us, because no longer will we be filthy. See? It says, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor. And this is another thing. When the laws are in the inward parts, we're not going to have to teach anybody, any other Israelites. The only ones we'll be teaching are the other nations. And every man his brother, saying, know the Lord. How do you know the Lord? By finding out the things that are pleasing unto him, which are where? In the Bible, the laws, the statutes, the commandments. For they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them. So we're not going to have to teach anymore. There will not be any YouTube in the kingdom of heaven. There will not be any X or Twitter or whatever other, social medias are out there. Your Brightions and your, Rumbles and, and all these different other platforms, of social media, TikTok and all of that, to get the truth out. There won't be any of that, because all Israel is going to be saved, and all Israel shall be righteous, because as the prophecy states, which goes back to the Old Testament, Romans 11 and 26, And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, which is Yahushai, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. For this is my covenant unto them. When Yahushai returns. Ooh! When I shall take away their sins. So we still go off. This is my covenant unto them. When I shall take away their sins, because right now we're still in this sinful flesh. We still go off. So it says, and so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, Yahushai. Yahushai is not here yet. He's here spiritually, but he's not here physically. And shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. And that's when these bodies will be changed. For this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins. Because right now we're under sin. The Apostle Paul said that. You know, I am carnal, sold under sin. And so are we. So the covenant will not be fulfilled until Yahushua comes back and delivers us and changes us and takes away these sinful bodies, these sinful thoughts, you know, and just this being that we're living in this world. This world will be changed, and righteousness will reign once again. So it says, Jeremiah 31:34. I believe this is where the Apostle Paul was quoting from. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, for I will forgive their iniquity and remember their sins no more. Okay? Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divided the sea from the waves thereof. When the waves thereof roar, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. That's how we know the Israelites are still here. Thus saith the Lord, if heaven above can be measured and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord. But he's going to forgive us, you know. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the city shall be built to the Lord from the tower of Hananel unto the gate of the corner. Right, that's when the kingdom of heaven is established. And the measuring line shall yet go forth over against it upon the hill Gareb, and shall compass about to Goath, and the whole valley of the dead bodies, and of the ashes, and all the fields unto the brook of Kidron, unto the corner of the house gate toward the east, shall be holy unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It shall not be plucked up, nor thrown down any more forever. See, that goes hand in hand with Daniel, the 2nd chapter, where it speaks about, you know, it speaks about the kingdom shall not be let out to other nations, to other people. All right. So that's been Yaramyah chapter 31. I pray and hope that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say Shalom.